Okay. It is much easier to become a father than to actually be one. Can never. So, I'm Christian Cornero. Thank you for your time today, and I'm going to be presenting about the lack of father and how it affects the common U.S. adolescent in the United States. As you can see over here, this is my research question. All of my slides are going to be labeled on top so you can find yourself and be ready. So, how has the lack of father figure impacted adolescents in the United States over the last 20 years? Well, the answer to the question is, the lack of father figure has affected the adolescent in mental and physical aspects that endanger the teenager now and in the future in many different ways. So, I'm gonna be connecting this to two stimuli that I chose. I chose the migrant mother one because of the evolution that I'm gonna go later in aspects when I proceed to my claims, and I also chose the dark side of resilience. They're really good fits to this topic. So, as you can see here from my claim one, I'm gonna be talking about this graph that I got from PLOS. PLOS is research that they research for literature, technology, Medicare, and other stuff. That in this case, they research in psychology, and they went a little bit in depth about how has the lack of father affected the teenager in the United States in mental ways. As you can see over here at the bottom, we have it labeled, and you can see that the percent for the father absence is much higher than all of them. But I'm gonna go on later explaining what is a percent for. As you can see, the dark squares are the suicide ideation, and the non-dark squares, the white ones, are the no suicide ideation. As you can see over here for father absence, the second one, you can see that the percent, it is significantly higher than any other ones, especially the first one being the non-left behind. This implies that when the father leaves you, your child is way more likely to have suicide thoughts and other mental health issues. So my second claim is a graph that I took from Semantic Scholar. Semantic Scholar being an artificial intelligence research tool that went in depth a little bit about sexual activities and how a father absence affects the whole sexual intercourse, the whole risk things about sexual intercourses. Sorry. So over here in the graph, we can see there is black triangles at the bottom and black squares at the top. As you can see by the right side, the black squares are the rate of early sexual activities, and the triangles are the rates of teenage pregnancy. A good thing to talk about is how when you don't have a father, you don't get the proper education sometimes, and as a female, you're more likely and vulnerable to be pregnant early, causing more of a cycle going on. If you're pregnant early, the possibilities of the father not showing up is way higher, causing a cycle. As you can see over here, early father absent girls are way more likely than father present girls, and girls that have a father are way more likely to be pregnant and to have sexual activities. Males and females are both as much as likely, way more than the common teenager with a father. They're more likely to catch also sexual diseases such as APVs and STDs. So my third claim is from EFS, or in section of family education, and it's talking about how has aggression become a factor in all of this. Well, so when your father is incarcerated, which for those of you who don't know, incarcerated means being sent to prison. By the ages of 15 to 19, the child is way more likely to be aggressive and cause a repeating cycle of also going to prison due to the aggression he's been suffering due to their mental health issues. As you can see over here in blue, those are the numbers for the bio-father present. And over here in yellow, those are the numbers for the bio-father absent. If you've ever been arrested by the ages of 15 to 19, without your father, you're gonna be in yellow, and in blue, you're gonna be with your father. You can see that the numbers are way higher for those who don't have a father due to the aggression issues that were caused later on in life. You can also see over there, if you've ever been arrested by 28 to 34, the numbers are way even higher than the ones over here by 15 and 19. You can see this is a result due to not having a father and having aggressive behavior issues, and this is causing a repeating cycle as well of not having fathers and keeping your child more aggressive due to the fact you're also going to be incarcerated. Also, this is the same graph from the same website I found from Institute of Family Studies, and this over here is also shows a link between problem behavior and absent fathers. At the top, we can see the percent of kids without fathers, age 3, 91.4 to 8.6, age 5, 86.6 to 13.4, and age 7, 83% to 17%. The dark squares being the ones without a father. As you can see over here, the lack of father causes borderline SDQ scores, which are also another term for aggression and other problems. You can see here at the bottom that age 3, age 5, and age 7 are significantly higher when you don't have a father present than the ones with a father present. How can we solve this issue? Well, we have a couple of solutions over here, but they're also going to come with limitations. Well, the first solution we can kind of rely on is educating our teenagers about everything that's going on, sexual activities, and others. Second solution is giving coping tools. So basically, we can provide free therapy, we can provide free education, we can provide 504s, things that's gonna help the teenager without a father to be ready and a better person. And the third one being government programs. Well, government-funded programs to single mothers who rely solely and purely on her own income to help her child, maybe her multiple children, to live a good life. The government can help by giving money or giving some free therapy for the child itself. However, there are always going to be limitations with the solutions. So the first solution, maybe it's not available in the area you're from, or you're just not interested. You don't want to go, you don't want to educate yourself on this, you don't have the time. There's a lot of limitations for this. The second one, being that many are not going to receive those tools to cope. Many will not want to receive those tools to cope, and you're going to be closed-minded and others. So for the third one, government may not create a program, or many won't be accepted in the program. Even if they do create a program for single mothers to help them, many of them are not going to qualify, even though they are single mothers without a father, and they're not going to get any money at all. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to talk about how in-depth they connect to the stimuli. So, the dark side of resilience and the migrant mother, they show how times affect how you cope and how you show solutions to things. And this is basically goes into my issue of my claim number 3 and 2, that due to the times, the difficult times, they're going to react differently, and they're going to have some aggressive issues and some other things that are bad. So, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, Chris, I have 2 questions for you. First up, how did your research question evolve as you moved through the research process, and did your research go in a different direction than you originally had planned it to go?
Well, that's a very good question.
Thank you.
So the first way that I developed my research question was that I first began it was way too broad, and it wasn't really a formulated research question. I tried going just about the father absence, and I didn't really specify or think about in what ways you're going to be affected. And it wasn't really a good research question because it had, 1, many answers to it, and 2, it was way too broad.
All right, and last question. How did you use your solutions and the questions of, I'm sorry, you know what? That question's not gonna work for you because you did solution-based, not conclusion-based. How does your solutions respond to any of the other research or sources that you examined? How does it relate to what other people have said?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah. How does your conclusion, or solution, I guess you would have, relate to, or excuse me, God, I'm fumbling through this today. How does your solution respond to any of the other research that other people have done?
Well, so my solution actually links with other research about the solutions that are due to this issue, but as I said in my presentation, it's not as simple, and there's tons of limitations. But they also respond a lot positively, and they also add information to other research, but it basically adds on from research previously done on this topic.